So, good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for taking time out to join us after your classes. Um, Welcome to the Digital Industrial IoT Hackathon webinar. My name is Mahesh Murarka. I am a Senior Director with G Digital. I manage one of the main applications on Predictive platform, APM. I will be, walking you through some background around why we are doing this hackathon, what is the background, what is the basis for this hackathon, and then my colleague Kinjal Shah will give you a little more details around the hackathon itself, and then we'll later, answer some of your questions. With that, a little bit more background about myself. I am a aerospace engineer from IIT Kharagpur. Worked with several organizations, IBM, American Express. Did also attempt a startup in my past, and finally I joined this team about 2.5 years back. Working on Predictive platform. With that, I will move on. So as you know, our world is changing very rapidly. When internet came up, all the PCs in the world were connected, around 350 million PCs. And then the next wave which came up was, when all the mobile devices were connected, around 2.3 billion devices, mobile phones, people got connected. And then, now we are talking about every, device, every equipment at your home, every sensor being connected. So everything is connected, and we are expecting about 50 billion devices connected to each other by 2020. But what does all these connections mean, right? It's one thing to get connected, but what does it mean in terms of taking advantage of these connections, right? Again, in 1995, when all the PCs got connected, it was more about back office automation, right? Reducing, say, cycle times for some of the manual processes. The next wave, which happened about 10 years back, in our days, was the social media and CRM integration, right? So all the 2 billion devices, when they're connected, or the people when they're connected, it allowed for lot of analytics to be driven out of these tools, social media tools, how we reach out in terms of our customers, and how do we advertise to them. It was more of a retail innovation. And now we are at the foot of what we call industrial internet, when all the devices in the world are connected. What it means is, this will be the innovation around industrial world. This will be a amalgamation of physics-based understanding what we had with data science, with predictive analytics, right? And so we are at a cusp of moving from IT to OT. Okay, and that's where this is giving us the right opportunity for our future. So how do we see this playing out within GE, right? So as you can see, GE is a large organization with about $120 billion in revenue. Okay, we have close to $1 trillion worth of assets deployed. Now we see ourselves as one team. Having said that, we have several businesses. We operate in GE Power. We operate in energy connections, in renewable energy, oil and gas, aviation. So we have about 10 independent businesses each built around a specific industry. But we like to be known as one company. We work very closely around. So we are rightly placed to take advantage of this industrial internet. We monitor about 50 million data points every day. I don't know how many of you are aware, but there are about 68,000 jet engines currently being used, which are GE manufactured, right? So in terms of our ability to understand the industrial side, GE has been a key player in that area for a long time. But let me give you some context of what is possible by industrial internet, right? Within some of the just 5 segments out of our 10 segments, if you were to improve 1%, 1% fuel savings, 1% reduction in system efficiency, 1% reduction in freight efficiency, power savings, we are in total talking about about $150 billion opportunity, which is more than annual revenue of GE itself, right? It's a huge opportunity we are currently seeing if you're able to achieve some of this 1% savings, right? The power of 1%, if I may. So why do we see an opportunity here? Okay, some of you may not be aware, but between 1991 and 2010, the industrial productivity was around 4%. Okay, but in last few years, it has come down to 1%. If we were to embark on this journey where we, as I spoke to you about earlier, where physics and analytics can come together, this can bring in, or this can help us solve the productivity challenges in the industrial world. Okay, and so this industrial opportunity is a huge opportunity. This will, it's larger than traditional enterprise opportunity, as well as what typically was known as the consumer IT domain opportunity. So this is the path we have gone in, and so let me tell you, what we are doing as a company. So we are in a process of creating a new era of productivity, which we are calling as industrial internet. Industrial internet is about connecting industrial machines, infrastructures, ecosystems, and people together in order to derive unprecedented value through analytics, machine automation, and ability to predict and prevent critical issues. Or in short, the industrial internet is a war on downtime, waste, and guesswork within industries, right? These innovations promise greater speed and efficiency to diverse industries. It will deliver new gains, productivity growth, industrial revolution. So our vision is that world can continuously work better, faster, safer, and cleaner, and on top of that, more cost efficiently. So we are embarking this journey, and this hackathon is one of the steps which we are taking to bring you along to join us in this exciting revolution we are starting on. So that was a very brief introduction to where GE is, what opportunities we are seeing, and some background around this hackathon, which is around digital industrial IoT. Okay. With that, I will pass on to Kinjal Shah, who is one of my colleagues, who will give you a little more details around the hackathon itself.
Hey, hi. Thanks, Mahesh, for providing excellent insight on how GE is embarking the digital transformation journey. And thanks everyone for joining at late evening after the dinner or after the classes and hanging around with us. everyone who has been participated on the call, I believe they have already gone through the G Industrial IoT Hackathon's page. So which means that this hackathon is primarily around the four themes, starting with the smart machine, smart city, industrial IoT, and healthcare. When we think a smart machine, we usually, it's analogy to a robotics, right? But let me give you a little bit more clarity or provide a different viewpoint. A pump which is in your mechanical lab, induction motor in your electrical lab, you can convert them as a smart machines by applying a different kind of analytics or applying a digital using the data which they are generating, which will help overall industrial users experience. Right now, let's say as this on slide, there is a locomotive which Indian Railway is going to adapt in next 10 years, which is provided by GE, which is the next generation locomotive. And why Indian Railway has selected that particular locomotive? Couple of reasons. It has been banging on the APM journey. It will be using a LocoVision component. So what APM will provide to Indian Railway is optimal usage of the fuel efficiency, and then by using a predictive analytics, it will identify locomotives mechanical failure, oil replacement, things like that. Things like that, which will help as an Indian citizen, we are going to get a great experience in next over the decade. So let me give you a little bit more insight. The APM. If I am going to know in a locomotive which has been running across the India, if I come to know that there is a high slope terrain or the steep terrain, based on the altitude of the terrain, if I'm going to know ahead 3 kilometers, and then I will either switch on engine or switch off the engine. That will be a great fuel consumption reduction, right? And that will improve the overall bottom line and improve the overall expenses. Now, can we use that in the context of your daily bikes or daily scooter? Absolutely. If I'm going to have a bike where I'm getting a GPS data, and in my city, if I'm going to know that there is a going ahead, there is a huge traffic building up, it automatically start reducing my speed. Or if I'm going to know that there is a road which is having a different altitude, then again it can automatically switch off or reduce the fuel consumption. So what I'm trying to convey is that smart machine, even though G is building at a great scale level, but definitely those ideas you can build on your daily routine. That can be within your mechanical lab, electrical lab, and it's a mixture of mechanical, electrical, chemical, and the IT. With that, and then let's take another example. We had just 2 days before, we have seen Muzaffarnagar accident where the locomotive has been derailed. Now let's assume that I have a system in place which always run through on railroads and then captures the high density image. With that images, if I am able to figure it out, where are the cracks are happening, where are the maintenance work required, I can reduce a lot uh, of failures. A lot of lives can be saved, right? Again, if I flip that idea, and if I can see that if I'm using, can that be applied in my city? Can that be applied in my my town? Definitely yes. If you think uh, how you can capture large amount of data, analyze it, and apply that in your daily routine, you can start visualizing how you can come up with a different set of ideas. So with that, I will move around the another side of the theme, which is a smart city. So again, the smart city is a primarily interconnected transport, water management, parking. Intent of the government is that provide a great experience to citizen. So that is all about a smart city. Now, if a smart city is a huge scale project, but can I divide that in a smaller POC or smaller ideas? So let's take a water management, right? In a city, usually we will have a water leakage, and then it takes a bit of time to figure it out where actually leakage is happening in that particular lane, or is it a problem at a junction, or is it a problem at my door, or it's my next neighbor road. But if I have if I apply my water pressure algorithm, and from that, if I will somehow figure it out that the tentative location of water leakage, that will again improve how I can provide another level of experience to my citizens, right? So again, in the case of the smart city, what I'm trying to convey is that if I'm doing a water management, or if I'm doing a parking, or if I'm trying to come up with a certain ideas which is combination of the civil, electrical, and computer science. So that is a great opportunity to collaborate among a different diversity of your friends within your campus and come up with a great idea and leverage each other. Moving on to the healthcare, the general convention of having a diabetic assessment is using a device which will puncture the patient, and based on the blood report we can figure it out the diabetic level of the patient. Now can we give a can we come up with some different alternative? So G had last year done a similar hackathon at a different location, and we had got amazing ideas from the participants that rather than using such a device, we start using the retina based images, and when we compare the retina images with the different diabetic level people, you can easily come up with the ideas that how much the patient has been impacted with the diabetic, and then based on that you can take a necessity action. So healthcare is another theme where you can come up with a combination of innovative ideas, our ancient knowledge, and apply for the Indian system, which requires low cost, some innovative solutions which can be applicable. So the last one, which is the industrial IoT, right? So what we can fit into the industrial IoT? One thing which I can come up with is that smart energy storage. So we are we are in the era where we are consuming diverse energy, which is the solar, water, wind, and the general convention coal, right? Now, if somebody can give me algorithm where I can decide that, okay, rather than using my DG genset, which is generating electricity, I should be using a 30% wind, 40% solar, and then rest from the grid. So that's precisely algorithm which I need to figure it out, and that could be a one use case. The another use case is that if how can I improve my battery life, that is another uh, big 10 years transformation the world is going to, right? In US, the Tesla is one example. If India has to embark where we are saying that 2030 every vehicle will be battery driven, so that is again another uh, charter where there is a lot of innovation required, and we required your help to come up with a set of ideas and thoughts. So with that, I will move to the next slide, where how as a G we will be evaluating different dimension in the hackathon. So starting with the idea, right? So what we will be looking from in the ideation phase, that it needs to be innovative enough with having a business and societal impact. So a great idea which has a business, society, and innovation combination of that will be a great high impactful. Once we select the idea, what we will be next looking forward from you is a demoable POC and working code. So having a great idea is excellent, but then the major impact will be coming out from your demoable POC and the working code. Now, the third parameter which we would like to understand is the technical strength of the solution and scale and design. The reason being is that if I am the G is working at a scale, my one turbine generates a 500 gig data. So whatever the solution we as an organization needs to build, it needs to be built at a scale and highly design manner. And we would be looking forward, folks like you, how you can come up with a thought process on those fronts, right? Then followed by you will be the folks who has been selected will be given an opportunity for the presenting to their leadership team, where it would be how individual can sell their idea, and how as a team you have worked together, whether it's a mechanical, whether it's electrical, or it's a combination of a mechanical, electrical, and IT, how you have collaborated and how you have developed the idea. The third, so moving on to the next, just a nitty-gritty on the timeline. The IoT Hackathon has been already started from the 26th July, and it is going to, ideation phase is going to complete on the 27th August. So far, we have got a phenomenal response. We have got quite a bit number of registration, and thanks for participating in the hackathon. We are looking forward converting your thoughts in the ideas. So I request that whatever the ideas you have, start submitting, because that will help in start understanding your thoughts from the GE team. So moving on to the once on the 27th August, the ideation phase will be completed, and then GE will be screening the shortlisting the ideation team, which will move to the implementation phase, which will be starting from the 1st September to the 24th September, and then those team will be given an opportunity to having a virtual presentation to the GE technical as well as management leader, and which eventually will be turn out the top teams who will be having a FaceTime with the GE leadership team at Bangalore. So moving on to the next one, which is the FAQ. So GE has been running the hackathon at quite multiple locations, and we usually come across some of these questions. So I thought that rather than it can come out from you, I'm sure you must have something similar questions. So let me provide the first tab of it, and then I will open it up for you. If any one of you have multiple ideas to submit it, one is on the smart city, another one is in the smart machine, absolutely yes, you can submit multiple ideas. We don't have any restriction. You are allowed to choose a programming language which you are comfortable. The reason is that there are different curriculum in different colleges. If you are comfortable with Java, or if you are comfortable with Node.js or any other languages, feel free to choose the programming language which you want to make a POC successful. Whether it's required to be having a predicts base, or you can do it in your local system. Absolutely, you can do either of. We are in essence, we are looking forward how you will be designing the solution which can scale at a cloud level, right? Now, another questions which usually comes up in IoT hackathons is that if I don't have a right level of sensors, if I want to use pressure gauge, or if I want to use humidity or temperature sensors, but I don't have either Raspberry Pi or I don't have a Intel Edition board, can I still participate? Absolutely yes. You can you can simulate those hardware data. You can see that this is where my hardware will be generating data. This is the input stream for the temperature. This is the input stream from the humidity. And then my overall project starts, right? So feel free to simulate the hardware sensor. It should not be a bottleneck for you. Am I allowed to use any of the open source library? Absolutely yes. You are open to use any of the open source technology, provided you should know what you are using, and you should able to explain in the presentation that what are the pros and cons, how it can be helpful, why you have selected one open source versus another, right? So that would be expected. Some of the things what we will be looking forward, given that majority of the participant will be from the university, is we would be looking forward best practices of the coding, modularity, scalability, and code reliability. What does that mean? As an engineering student, I have written a code which I can understand, and it works perfectly fine. But when it needs to be reviewed at a multiple level, it provides a great edge. The function which I have written has a bunch of comment, has a nomenclature, because that improves who will be reviewing that code remotely in Bangalore, right? So that would be some expectation which we will be looking forward from you. So guys, with that, I would say, are you in? We have so far excellent participation. We have more than 550 participants, totally 160 registered team. So I would say get on. This is a great opportunity for you to make an impact to the industrial IoT journey. It can be a great impact to the nation if you have a great idea, right? So with that, I will open up for the questions.
So there's one question which has already come, which I thought everybody will benefit from. The question is from Amit Mandal. The question is, benefit of connecting 50 billion things by 2020 is really great. But what about the security concern? How strong will be the cyber protection? So you hit one of the important nails in the challenge we have in the industrial IoT space. In the social evolution which happened, in last 10 years, security has been a major concern because people by themselves have not been very careful with their privacy. But when we are embarking on the industrial internet world, the industries we work with are paranoid about their data. They are very careful about what data is reaching, is not reaching the wrong people. And so, GE has been in forefront on ensuring that whatever we do is extremely secure. We acquired a company called Worldtech, which is one of the pioneers in sensor data security. They have developed what we call a hardened OS, which resides on the sensors, and it has very strong security protocols. We also internally have hacking teams which make sure that our code is thoroughly tested by hackers. So in short, in summary, security is one of the big concerns, and we are taking steps to ensure that it is not left as an afterthought. We are designing solutions with security in mind from day one. Having said that, you should in your hackathons, we do expect some security, but you will not be judged majorly on having security around your code. When as and when you join the industry, you will get those trainings to be able to work around the security side. So what about IPR loss? Will I be included in the patent application if our idea is good? The patents are typically given for, there's a lot of confusion around the world around patent. What can be patented, what cannot be patented. But apart from keeping that aside, whatever ideas you submit are your ideas. In case we choose to use them, we will work with you to get your consent before any of your ideas can be used within GE. And when we do that, we will we'll work with you to find out if those ideas should be patented, what is the process around it. The intent of this hackathon is to help you think on what could work. But if and I'm hopeful that some of you will come up with ideas which will have real business value, and if that is the case, then we'll work with you to help you secure the patent on that. I got a comment that the audio was not working or connectivity was lost at sometimes. My apologies for that. We were not aware about that. Can somebody comment? Is it just now that you are not able to hear, or? I think Ashwini has some issue with the. So thanks for the input. We were not sure why. Had we got the feedback earlier, we would have taken care. So we'll try and take care of this for our next sessions, which we'll have around presentations and other areas. We'll find out why there was an issue. Apologies for the connectivity issue. But in the meanwhile, we have given an email ID for if they have any questions on the website. Is there a way they can reach out to us? Okay, yeah. So in case you have any questions around the webinar or the hackathon itself, please use the discussion forums. We will have our teams look at them regularly, and we'll answer them at regular intervals. So there is a question on, is there any tutorial on Predix and can we use it for free? You can visit predix.io and there is a free period with some credits you can use. It also has the learning or tutorials inbuilt within the predix.io platform. So the next question is, what if me and some other person has the same idea? How will be the evaluation? So when you are presenting the ideas, the team here will be reviewing them and choosing the idea for you, which would make sense. And in case we have duplicate ideas, we can either have both the teams work on the same idea and see how you implement the idea, because as Kinjal mentioned earlier, idea is just one part of our evaluation. How you code, whether your code is working, whether your demo is working, whether you have designed your code in a scalable, in a neat way, are also important. So even if let's say your two groups have same ideas and both have been selected, there are a lot of other means to evaluate on that. The next question is it necessary to have a hardware model? No, it's the idea is not for you to worry about a hardware, but the idea is to have the idea for this webinar is to have ideas around a industrial IoT world. So what I mean is, you can assume that you are able to get sensor data or some data feed in your application or in your code, and then you can build on top of that. In real world, when we convert that idea into a real application, obviously the simulated data will be replaced with real data, but for the purpose of this hackathon, you can safely assume that your data is already there, and you need not have any hardware in place to participate in this hackathon. Next question is it something like first come first serve? No, there is no, again, as I mentioned, you need not worry about having a duplication of ideas. Obviously there will be some ideas which will be duplicate. We have been doing these hackathons for a long time now, and we do see some ideas being repeated. But what we do see is how the idea is implemented varies a lot from team to team, and that is what is more important. The next question is, if I use any resource for making the product, will GE fund in any way for buying microcontrollers or something? So currently for the hackathon, we do not expect to spend any money. So we recommend that you do not buy any stuff to make the hackathon work. But in case your idea is chosen and we evaluate that we want to take your idea to live production, then we'll work with you around what can be the arrangement, and what will be the funding required, and all those things can be worked out. But for now, we expect you to not spend any money on this. We have some prize money for the hackathon, which again, the expectation is not that you spend money to get that prize money. The expectation that we want to reward you for participating in this hackathon and coming out with great ideas. So that is the main intent of the prize money. So what is the format for hackathon idea phase submission? So we will send out an email with details on how to submit the ideas. It is there on our website, but if you have any questions around it, we will send more details around it. Is it all right to participate with an idea that has been presented in some other competition? I mean, yes, you are allowed to do that, but if you have a unique idea yourself, you have been living in this world, and you have been studying various engineering subjects. I'm sure you can come up with some unique ideas, some your own ideas. But if you want to reuse one of the existing ideas, it is allowed. Obviously, it will impact some of the evaluation because since we are aware of many of the ideas which are already in the market, we will look for how innovative is your idea and how real is your idea. So yes, you are allowed to, but we recommend that you come up with new ideas. If it has been some idea which you yourself have come up in the past, please feel free to use it. The next is a request. It says, if you could guide us learning cloud computing, especially for students who are not from computer science background. There are multiple sources on cloud computing. In fact, many times cloud computing is misunderstood. Cloud computing is not necessarily around computing on cloud. It is around being able to build a solution which is very scalable. Typically, a solution on the cloud is something which is multi-threaded, multi-tenant, and it has to be secure because you are allowing it to be accessible from anywhere and everywhere. So there are some tenants around which a cloud code has to be written. So it is possible. It will be difficult to name a single source. But there are multiple sources. In fact, I'm sure within your institutes you'll be able to find people who are passionate about this, about cloud computing, and we recommend that you form teams which are multifaceted. An ideal team would have 3 members from 3 different departments, bringing in different strengths. So but in terms of a good source, there are a lot of sources out there. Please use any of the ones. We will try and see if we can send you some links. But cloud computing is a huge space. It will be difficult to pinpoint one source for that. Do we have to make a team? Yes, it is recommended that you form your teams. In case you are not able to and you want to participate, we will. Once all the teams are formed, any remaining people we will from your institutes will try and inform you that these are the other people who are looking out for teams, and you can work with them to form the teams. How many teams will be selected for the second round? Yeah, we don't have a specific number in mind. If we like your idea, and if you have done a good job in terms of making it work, there is a good chance we will get you to come and present us here. Does GE provide any links for sensor data repository which can be used for simulation? Currently, no. If you are working on an idea, I'm sure you can generate temperature data or pressure data or viscosity data. As engineering students, I expect you to know what the unit of measures for the sensor data would be, and please feel free to generate any content. You can use Excel. In Excel, there are tools to generate random data within the limits required. Can I form a team by including unregistered person? We recommend that if you are if you're forming a team with somebody who's unregistered, they can come back and register. Yeah. So we recommend you ask them to become come and register themselves. Is the focus more on new and innovative idea, or is the focus more on better implementation? I think in our evaluation we do have more focus on implementation, but there is sufficient focus on idea also. The intent of this webinar, or sorry, this hackathon, is to make you think on, make you be able to think on what industrial internet will bring, and if you are able to think, it will make you more prepared for the upcoming wave in the IT world. So yes, implementation is very, very important, but if you are able to come up with some ideas, that will help a lot. I think there is a similar question from earlier. Okay, so you're asking, if all the 3 team members are from the same department or same background, I think it is just a recommendation that you have teams from different departments, because we have seen that when you bring in strengths from various areas as a single team, then what you can achieve is a lot more. But it is definitely allowed to have members from the same department. The next question is that only ideas related to IIoT to be brought up? See, IoT space sometimes is misunderstood, but IoT space is a huge space where we are saying that this world is connected to each other. Everything from your pen to your doorbell, to your cycle, to your classroom, everything is connected. And how do we take advantage of this connectivity in helping solve key problems currently the industrial world is facing? So as long as you keep the theme in mind, it should be fine. If you submit any ideas which do not we feel is not taking the industrial IoT space forward, we will let you know, and we'll try and help you with a different idea which may have been submitted by somebody else. Is it okay to present an initial part of our project in finals, as a project is large enough and cannot be completed in 1 month? I recommend that you choose the portion of an idea which can be implemented, and you will be evaluated on that portion of the idea. Obviously, we are living in an agile world where you want each effort you do to be productive, right? So if you have a multi-year idea, choose a piece of which you can demonstrate and which can work. You can assume the input part and output part of it. The next question is repeated. Can we form teams with computer and electronics people? Yes, you can. Is making an Android app mandatory for implementation? No, Android app is just one idea. As Kinjal has mentioned, you can use any programming language, and the code can work on a mobile, can work on your PC, on a server. It doesn't matter. We are not worried about whether it's an Android app or iOS app or a standalone desktop application or a web-based application, as long as it is trying to solve a industrial IoT problem. Next question is around healthcare. Can we submit ideas which come under healthcare? Absolutely. Healthcare is one of the key industries which will benefit from the industrial IoT space, and it is one of the key themes we have in the hackathon. If I submit 2 ideas and both get selected, what happened then? Ankita, we will give you the choice to choose whichever idea you want to go ahead with. We will only shortlist the ideas to make sure that you are working on something which will help you win the competition. But if you have multiple ideas and all of them get selected, we'll leave the choice to you on which idea you want to select. In case we like one idea much more than the other, we'll let you know. So we have just 5 more minutes left. I will try and wrap up. Thanks a lot, everybody, for attending the webinar. We are very excited about the journey which GE is taking, and we want all of you to either through GE or through any other company you work for in future, join this journey. It's a very exciting journey, and through this hackathon we want you to get to work on a real industrial IoT solution with mentorship provided by some of our team members here. And in case you get selected, we will also consider you for either internship opportunities within GE or full-time opportunities in GE. So we look forward to seeing you participate in big numbers, coming out with great ideas and making this event a great success. So with that, I will close the webinar. Thanks a lot, everybody. And if you have any questions, please go to the forum on the website, and we will check on the forum for any questions, and we'll answer those. Thank you.